Daniel Dubois says that he would be interested in a showdown with David Price. Dubois is the current British heavyweight champion, and he makes his bid to become the Commonwealth heavyweight champion when he faces Ebenezer Tete at the Royal Albert Hall on September 27th. Could he fight David Price after that? David Price is on a fight-by-fight basis with Sky and Matchroom. So he's basically a free agent and he can fight on any platform he wants. Price, after he beat Dave Allen, seemed to indicate that he wants big names. He doesn't want to fight, another domestic level fight against an Allen or somebody like that. He wants the big names. And ultimately it's about the big money. Would Frank Warren pay David Price enough to make the Daniel Dubois fight attractive enough for him to take? That's the question. If Frank Warren's, recent attempts to make certain fights is anything to go by, then maybe he wouldn't be able to offer David Price enough. He certainly wasn't able to offer Callum Smith enough to fight Billy Joe Saunders when Saunders was still signed to him. And that was just a couple months ago. So, yeah, it remains to be seen. Now, as far as whether I think it's a good fight for Daniel Dubois, I think it is a good fight. His team have obviously got a lot of confidence in him. Frank Warren's got a lot of confidence in him. You put him in there against Nathan Gorman and Daniel Dubois passed the test with flying colors. Even though he's a very, very introverted and quiet individual, he clearly has a lot of inner self-belief and confidence, and he's an animal in that boxing ring, let's be real. So it is a gamble always when you put a young heavyweight in there against such a puncher as David Price. But is it a gamble worth taking? I personally think it is, because if they're trying to build Daniel Dubois as the next star of British heavyweight boxing, a potential pay-per-view guy for the future, they need some names on his resume which the British public are familiar with. And the British public know David Price. David Price, I said this a long time ago, has kind of turned into the new Audley Harrison. And he almost turned into the new Audley Harrison after he beat Harrison. It wasn't long after the Harrison fight that he started getting knocked out. And yeah, he turned into Harrison. I don't mean in terms of, his personality, because his personality is nothing like Audley, but just in terms of him being this British fighter this British heavyweight who's supposed to be talented, and he had amateur pedigree and whatnot, but never fulfilled it. And instead ends up being a bit of a punch bag whenever he steps up to a decent level as a pro. So David Price has become that, after Audley's gone. And Audley provided a stepping stone for several British fighters to make a name for themselves. Several fighters around the world. I mean, Deontay Wilder fought Audley and knocked him out in a round. David Price, used Audley as a stepping stone. So in the same way, I think Daniel Dubois against David Price, it could be a good look for Dubois if he's able to get in there against Price. Remember, Price is coming off a good victory against Dave Allen, where he appeared to finally lay his demons to rest and put on the performance which most people feel like he should have put on, or most people feel like was always in him, but he could never, quite replicate it in a pro fight. I'm sure he's replicated performances like that in the gym many times, but in a pro fight, Price has just never managed to do it in recent years. But he did it against Dave Allen. So coming off the back of that win, and Allen had this kind of cult following, I think that's a good opponent for Daniel Dubois right now. In terms of the publicity you can get off beating Price. Now, obviously it's risky because Price can punch, but I haven't seen anything yet to suggest that Daniel Dubois is chinny in any way. And yeah, I think it's a good fight for him. And again, as far as David Price, it all comes down to the amount of money that Frank Warren can offer him for it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And of course, if the fight were to take place, I'd definitely be picking Daniel Dubois. Maybe some of you guys will be picking Pricey. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's happening. I'm out.